All right, it started off as an idea where we would make a movie pretty much following the real life Jon Stewart's career. So to do some research, I rented all these videos, every movie he'd ever been in. I sat up one night, spent the whole night watching his entire life's work on film, which is kind of cool that you can do that in one night. And then when it turned dawn and I was finally coming up from the basement, at that point I think I was beginning to get a little bit obsessed with Jon Stewart. So it's really amazing I didn't start to stalk him at that point. So we put together a script, looked it over, tested it out. It was tracking really closely with the real life Jon Stewart. And it was really boring. Oh, it was terrible. We couldn't do anything with it. So we needed to depart from reality and introduce some dramatic tension into the story. So we realized early on we needed to take a character like Jon Stewart and put him in a lot of mortal danger, and frequently. So to accomplish that, we went out and hired some consultants who really know about putting people into mortal danger.
Problem is going to be, let's go over the story again. Some bad guys are trying to get Jon Stewart, right? And so you're trying to help with the script, and so you've thought of some ways that we can, in the movie, we can protect Jon Stewart. So let's hear your ideas.
Okay.
Okay.
They're going to walk down all these stairs, and then they're going to think there's a monster, and then they're going to come inside and they're going to get trapped.
Okay.
They're going to climb in here, and they're going to think it's fun, and then they're going to fall asleep by sleeping medicine.
Okay.
They're going to step on here, and then they're going to blow up.
Wow.
And then they're going to fall, and when they fall into that thing, they're going to get so small, and they're going to get trapped.
Okay.
And then they walk down here, and they're thinking it's Jon Stewart, but they're going to get trapped. And I'm going to catch them. And Jon Stewart's going to pretend to be a girl.
Why is he going to pretend to be a girl?
To trick them.
And then, if nothing else works, how would you want to save him? Would you put on a cape? What would you do? How would you save Jon Stewart?
I'd wrap around him as a ghost for the guys, so the guys would run away.
And that would protect Jon Stewart?
Yeah. I would put a ghost costume on him, and then they're going to walk toward him, and they're going to go, ah!
All right, that sounds good.
They also trick them. I'm going to put this. Jon Stewart, they hold up the thing, and he's going to dress up the Statue of Liberty.
So we had the script finally, and we started to shoot, and everything was going along, well, really very slowly, not very quickly at all. And the basic idea was that there would be about 3 women who together were always out to get the real life Jon Stewart. They were going to bring him down. And I just took so long to get production going that for one reason or another, people had to drop out of the project. They drifted off. I mean, I had one cast member who, and this is a true story, she had to leave because she was helping monitor the peace process in Sri Lanka. And for some reason, that seemed more important to her than this. So I ended up having to create successor characters. Not in terms of a sequel, but within the same movie. This is not usually done in film. It's kind of innovation for us. So you'll notice that, for example, Neely becomes more or less Xena. And for the most part, I don't explain it. I think the audience is mature. I think they're willing to roll with the punches. So it just worked out that we really had about 7 or so characters when we really only needed 3. But, you know, everything's here. This is where it all happened. As we like to say, this is where the magic happens. Oh, the thing on the wall back there? Oh, yeah. That was never part of our set or in any scene. We had this one crew member. He had a little trouble separating truth from fiction. And he just kind of went a little overboard. I think he was at Woodstock, and he was one of those people that took the brown acid, if you know what I mean. Actually, that phrase on the wall, it more or less became kind of a mantra for him. The funny thing about shooting, when you're making a movie about Jon Stewart, and you're up in Lawrence, New Jersey, which is where he's from, the funny thing is that no matter where you go throughout that town, it always seems like there's somebody off in the shadows. Usually this is at night. And they're sneaking a butt, and they're kind of muttering to themselves. And every now and again, they call over to you. Hey, 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 you want to know about the real Jon Stewart? Yeah, I can tell you some stories. Yeah, you want to know about the real Jon Stewart? Yeah, I got stories. And that was usually his mother. So this is the effigy mask that we made for the production. We used bubble wrap to trying to give a kind of an acne kind of look. The funny thing was, we had a couple of people in the cast who actually, back in college, played soccer with the real life Jon Stewart. And so they obviously had a strong image of his youthful appearance. You know, I think Jon Stewart's doing a little bit of the young Elvis, fat Elvis kind of thing. So we went with our effigy. We definitely decided to stay with the young Jon Stewart. When the people that knew him got to the set, they were so struck by the likeness, by the amazing likeness, that they were overcome with emotion, and I think one of them passed out. You know, as a prop maker, you don't want physical harm to come to anyone, but on the other hand, such an extreme reaction is certainly gratifying. But we had fun with the effigy mask. It became kind of a game to kind of run around with it and say, chase everybody, who's your daddy, who's your daddy, who's your daddy, you know. Because when you make a movie, there are a lot of down times. People are twaddling with the lights and trying to get this thing set, and you gotta do something to pass the time.
The really important scene in the movie, from a special effects point of view, was really when Oscar goes through the portal into Jon Stewart's mind. And we created a fictitious portal. There really is not one anywhere in the world that we know of. And we created a sidewalk marker dedicated to Jon Stewart using his handprint. And Oscar, just on a whim really, puts his own hand down into the sidewalk marker. And that, because the handprint is the same size, because actually Oscar made the sidewalk marker, because the handprint is the same size, it opens up a door and Oscar falls through. Now, we were trying to think of different ways to do this. Somebody on the set had the idea that we would actually dig a hole, make it deep enough, you know, have some concrete down there, and then have Oscar really just dive in. And, you know, he'd probably be okay. I mean, you know, if he kept his hands out, he'd probably break the fall okay. And that would look very realistic. On the other hand, we really didn't have any insurance on this project, so it seemed like minimizing risk was a good idea. So we made the sidewalk sideways, so Oscar just had to dive through the sidewalk, kind of. And then the door would open, dives through.
All right, that's looking pretty dark.
Now, Oscar in the movie goes through this sidewalk 3 times, and he's in 3 different outfits. It's 3 different days. So we needed to have him go through this sidewalk 3 times, 3 different times, and we needed to have Xena, because she also goes through the sidewalk once. We wanted Xena to actually go through the sidewalk. So we had the set, we got all set, we had the camera ready, and Oscar went through the sidewalk for the first time.
Get your rear end down.
And on the way in, he managed to catch it, and he basically broke the whole set. So that's all we got from that shoot. So we kind of cover that up a little bit later on in the movie, and you don't really see what you're supposed to see.